So here is a brand that I've been hearing about for some time now, and I knew that I wanted to get my nose on their fragrances eventually. I didn't know where to start though, but I think I made the right choice. This fragrance is quite interesting, by the brand Oman Luxury. This one is called Wanderlust. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I tell you about Oman Luxury, their fragrance called Wanderlust, I want to start things off by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified whenever I do upload future videos to the channel. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or if you took something of value from today's episode. It would really mean a lot to me. So if you're interested in sampling or purchasing this fragrance, you may do so at maxaroma.com. All of the links are going to be down below. I've been using Max Aroma for a number of years now. I've done events at their warehouse. The people who run the operation are really down to earth, amazing people. And here we have a fragrance that didn't come out fairly recently. It's been around for some time, and it's one that I looked at the note breakdown and I said, okay, this sounds like it could be potentially interesting. A lot of citrus, some black currants, some wood, some olibanum, aka frankincense. So I said, you know what? I gotta get me a bottle of this stuff. So I know at Max Aroma, you can actually purchase a decant. So you don't have to purchase a full-size bottle of it. So that's always good to know. In any case, I'm gonna read the back. It says it contains bergamot, lemon, blackcurrant infused with pink pepper, cinnamon, and saffron. Cedarwood and guaiac wood reveals a woody touch at the dry down with a hint of olibanum, little incensey, little fresh, perhaps even a little musky from the blackcurrant. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on the smell. Let's start things off with a quick look at the presentation. So right in the opening of this fragrance, you are going to get something that is very bright, juicy, and fruity. And I looked at this note breakdown and I was like, wait a second, I'm not getting any of this. At least I didn't think so initially. Now, in terms of the citrus that is being represented here, sure, I do get the bergamot, I do get the lemon. It does open up quite bright and effervescent. There's this juicy appeal in the opening, but I'm like, wait a second, there's more than meets the eye with this fragrance. The blackcurrant is certainly in there. Blackcurrant for me always gives off a bit of a musky vibe. Some people have even compared the raw material when you smell it on its own to cat pee. I know that sounds absolutely gross. I wouldn't go that far, but I actually do enjoy the smell of blackcurrant. I think it adds a very interesting personality to a lot of fragrances. But more than anything, I thought I was smelling fig or coconut. And it's funny because there is this fruity, fleshy, lactonic presence about the fragrance, and fig is a fantasy note in perfumes. There's no way to distill the essence from a fig fruit, so it's really just a combination of other ingredients to give off the impression of fig in what is called a fig accord, a combination of different ingredients, and I'm getting that from this fragrance. So I'm really curious to know, what are the ingredients specifically that are joining forces, if you will, to create that fig vibe? Because it's really interesting, right? This is one that, in my opinion, can be spoken about in the same breath as Purple Fig by Wilhelm or even Philosophos by Diptyque. It actually has this sweet, juicy, fig, lactonic, coconut-like quality. Now, the one spice in here where I'm like, yeah, I'm getting that, is the cinnamon. Doesn't smell like a chai latte or anything like that, because I know I mentioned lactonic and now cinnamon, so a chai latte, not really, but I do get a bit of that sweet spice that's kind of lingering in the fragrance, occupying the heart. And in terms of the dry down with olibanum listed as a note, for me, and I've always said this, frankincense smells like lemon and pine. I'm getting the lemon, not so much the pine. So I don't know how much of an effect the olibanum is having. Maybe in the dry down, the few times that I've worn this, this in the dry down, it feels like it can come across a little green, but there are some other ingredients in here that could give off that vibe. For example, the cedar wood. The cedar wood can be a little peppery, it could be a little spicy, a little smooth. There's a lot of spices in here. The saffron, the pink pepper, all of that could potentially confuse the wearer into thinking that maybe there's something in here that is not reflected in the note breakdown. But for me personally, what I get mostly is this bright, juicy, fruity, citrusy introduction that is really illuminating, really bright. You do get the spices in there, the strongest of which, in my opinion, is the cinnamon. Saffron always gave me a leathery vibe, so I'm not getting pronounced leather vibe from this fragrance, but I am getting this sort of fig/coconut vibe from it, which I think is really interesting. With a name like Wanderlust, I think it's a really cool concept. I think it's executed quite nicely. The performance is amazing. We're gonna cover that in just a second. And the smell is unique. Despite the fact that I made a few comparisons, it doesn't smell explicitly like any of them. I'm more or less just trying to pigeonhole it or trying to classify it under a particular family where I think this one bears the most resemblance. In any case, try it for yourself. Max Aroma has it. Great people. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, despite the comparisons that I made, it is a unique fragrance. Overall smell is very pleasant. Despite the saffron and the pink pepper and all these other spices, the spices are not overwhelming, so I don't think anybody will wear this one with any difficulty per se. Longevity was about 8 hours on my skin. Projection was great for the first 45 minutes of application. It radiated within an arm's length. It became an elbow's length scent right around hour 5, 5.5. Skin scent right around hour 7.5 or 8. Versatility, perfectly unisex. I think this one is great for casual or formal scenarios. This one is great, I think, for every season except for the winter. Unless you're wearing it in a climate-controlled environment, wear it whenever you want. And I think on account of that subtle sweetness that is in here, on account of these fruity properties, I think this one would cater to somebody who's on the younger side of things as well as somebody who's a little bit older. And in terms of the presentation, I love the way the box opens. The name is cool. The bottle is quite sturdy and heavy. The cap has a really unique shape to it. My final verdict on this fragrance is if you are looking for a spicy, citrusy, incensey fragrance with a bit of a fig and coconut vibe that is not listed in the note breakdown, check out Wanderlust by Oman Luxury. It is a luxurious fragrance, definitely conveys elegance and grandeur, and I'm personally a fan. Definitely look forward to delving more deeply into this brand and see what other gems I could possibly discover from the house. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for your viewership. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell and give this video a thumbs up. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.